everybody, Sean from Movie Assault here, and it's time once again for a month's end movie haul, or the monthly pickups video, whichever you prefer. This time for May 2024. This one actually includes some leftover stuff from April of 2024. Some stuff came in at the end of the month. I had to make my April video a little early, because I was going on vacation and a shipment came in from Kino Lorber. I took advantage of their March Madness sale and some stuff came in. So the first stuff I'm going to show you is from Kino Lorber from the last part of April. So I'll show you that right now. Picked up Link with Elizabeth Shue and Terrence Stamp. I have not seen this. Kenny from Kenny's Movie Palace said this was worth seeing for Elizabeth Shue. He is a big Elizabeth Shue fan. I am a big Elizabeth Shue fan as well, and also a horror fan, so I figured I would pick this up. If you've seen this, let me know what you thought. This I picked up. This is the UFO incident with Estelle Parsons and James Earl Jones. This I actually have watched. This was a TV movie that came out in 1975. It's based on the Betty and Barney Hill alien abduction incident that took place in 1961. And for being a TV movie, this is actually very, pretty deep. It's got a cheap budget, unfortunately, but the performances are really well done. James Earl Jones in particular turns in a fantastic performance, very emotional. Estelle Parsons, you might remember her from Bonnie and Clyde. She did a lot of other things, but that's the first thing that pops into my mind when I think of her. She was the most memorable thing when I saw that when I was a little kid, because she was sort of manic in that movie. I'm not a huge fan of her performance in this, but she pairs up really well with James Earl Jones as a couple, and they work well as a couple. But this is just a really engrossing movie. It's more than just an alien abduction movie. It's also an examination of social issues because they're an interracial couple. Well worth seeing and quite interesting. Just very bizarre and very unexpected for something that would have aired on network TV in the mid-70s. Also picked up SOS Titanic, just sort of curiosity got me on this one. I'm interested in the Titanic maiden voyage that was doomed, and I've heard this particular movie is not very well made, including some footage from A Night to Remember and stock footage and just other stuff, but I'll give it a watch. It's got a pretty packed cast: David Jansen, Cloris Leachman, Susan St. James, David Warner, Ian Holm, Helen Mirren, Harry Andrews, Beverly Ross. But we shall see if it is any good. This is something that I've been wanting to see for a long time and can't believe that I haven't. It is Alan Parker's Mississippi Burning with Gene Hackman and Willem Dafoe. This is from 1988, I believe. Yeah. And I have not seen this, but I have heard nothing but universal acclaim for this movie and wanted to add it to the collection and also see it. This I also bought on a recommendation from Kenny from Kenny's Movie Palace. This is The Wildlife, starring Christopher Penn. Leah Thompson is in this. Jenny Wright, Eric Stoltz, Rick Moranis, and of note is the music is by one Edward Van Halen and Don Landee. So that's pretty interesting. Randy Quaid is also in this, from 1984, I believe. Yeah. So, always like 80s movies. This is a movie that I have never seen. It was directed by Dennis Hopper. Stars Don Johnson, Virginia Madsen, and Jennifer Connelly, also Charles Martin Smith, and that is The Hot Spot. This was very popular when I was a lot younger. When I was in college, it was a big Skinamax hit, but I've never seen it, and I've heard it's really good. So took a chance on that one. And then last but not least, Also on the recommendation of Kenny from Kenny's Movie Palace. Thank you, Kenny, for destroying my wallet this month, or last month. 3 Days of the Condor with Robert Redford and Faye Dunaway, Cliff Robertson, Max von Sydow. His CIA code name is Condor. In the next 72 hours, almost everyone he trusts will try to kill him. And I have heard a lot of good things about this. This was directed by Sidney Pollack, and it is based on 6 Days of the Condor by James Crady. I believe that is Crady and not Grady. The printing on this slipcover is a little blurred, but anyway, this looks really interesting and has looked pretty interesting for quite some time. So I'm glad to have picked that up as well. So those are the leftovers from April. Now we'll get into the stuff I picked up in May. And there's quite a bit of it. I got stuff from Amazon, eBay, Whatnot, and Hamilton Book. And I think one pick from the Disney Movie Club, which was my last pickup from them before they shut down. So we'll get into Amazon first. First, it was the latest release from Film Masters. I have been collecting all of the releases from them, and this is the most recent. This is Tormented from 1960. And this is an interesting movie about a woman who comes back, or a woman who tempts a man who's about to get married, and then he accidentally pushes her off of a lighthouse, and then her ghost comes back and threatens to spill the beans on the fact that he murdered her. So I thought that sounded pretty interesting. As always, there's a lot of special features on this, including the Mystery Science Theater 3000 version of Tormented, which should be a hoot. I've been picking up a lot of Bigfoot movies lately. I just ordered some, or actually one from Diabolic DVD that hopefully will be here pretty soon. I have seen this one. This is Creature from Black Lake from 1976. And this came out right around the time that Legend of Boggy Creek was hitting drive-ins. This is not an exceptionally great film, but it is pretty good. One of the notable features of this is that it has cinematography by Dean Cundy, who would go on to be a very big name in cinematography. So the movie looks great. The acting is a little amateurish. The Bigfoot creature, I don't think they ever call him Bigfoot in this. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I can't remember, but I don't know. I just thought it's an entertaining film. It's one of the better of the Bigfoot exploitation films from the 1970s. So I picked that up to add to the collection. Picked this one up. This is the Gerard Butler collection. This is 5 films starring Gerard Butler. And this includes Angel Has Fallen, Hunter Killer, Law Abiding Citizen, The Vanishing, and Gods of Egypt. And this was some ridiculously low price. That's why I couldn't pass it up. I think it was $8, $9, something like that. So I have not seen any of those films, so total blind buy. These next pickups I have been seeing, and I bought these mainly for the collectability of these, but also because these are all classic movies, some of which I have seen and haven't seen in a long time, and some of which I have not. But these are all 4K Ultra HD Steelbooks that have been hard to get, and then they became available this month. And so I figured I'd scoop them all up just because they're great movies, and these are really interesting editions of them. So I picked up the Steelbook of Lawrence of Arabia. And this includes Dolby Vision and a Dolby Atmos soundtrack. And supposedly this looks fantastic. I do have Lawrence of Arabia on Blu-ray. I'll be trading that in. This includes a Blu-ray as well, so I won't be giving anything up. But this is on my list to watch this year. One of the 33 movies that I said I would watch by the end of the year. I also picked up The Guns of Navarone on 4K Steelbook. I don't know if this one is as stunning as Lawrence of Arabia, but this is a great movie. I have not seen it in a very, very long time, so it will basically be a first-time watch for me as well. And then The Bridge Over the River Kwai steelbook. This I've seen more recently, but still don't remember too much about it, with Alec Guinness. And this was won Best Picture in 1957. But glad to have these in the collection, my 4K collection. Speaking of Bigfoot movies, I picked this up. I saw this in the theater, Sasquatch Sunset. This is a movie that probably won't appeal to many people. I had sort of a, I don't want to say a bad reaction to it when I saw it in the theater, and you're probably saying, well, why did you buy it? Because as I thought about it, I came to like it more as I kind of digested it. So I really want to see it again. It's a very bizarre, sort of quirky movie, very absurd, but it's about these 4 Sasquatch Bigfoot creatures making a trek, looking for more of their kind. They think they're the last of their kind. They're trying to communicate and find more Bigfoots or Big Feet or Sasquatches. And there's just sort of this weird family dynamic. There's a alpha male, there's a younger male, there's a kid, and then there's one female. And they just have this sort of weird family dynamic. There's a lot of bodily function jokes, but there's a lot of sort of poignant moments in it too. It's very strange. It's very hard to explain. No matter how I tried to explain it to my wife, she said it sounded like the stupidest movie ever made. And she could be right. I don't know. I don't know. I grew kind of fond of this the more I thought about it. So I wanted to add it to the collection. And then last from Amazon, but definitely not least, is Hardware Wars and other film farces. This was, I believe, the first Star Wars parody ever filmed. I think this came out in 1978. Oh, 1977. The first time I saw this was on HBO between movies, and it's a 15-minute long parody of Star Wars featuring hardware like irons and hair dryers and stuff. I haven't seen it in a long time, and as a kid, I think a lot of the humor probably went over my head because there is the characters' names probably went over my head because there is the R2-D2 is RT Deco, which I got, but the C-3PO is 4Q2. So think about that for a second. As a kid, that just was like, boop. But there's also Ham Salad and the Red Eye Knights, Fluke Starbucker. But yeah, this was by Ernie Fossilis. And this also includes some other films that he did, including Hardware Wars Saves Christmas and Plan 9.1 from Outer Space. So I am looking forward to popping this in the Blu-ray player and kind of chuckling a little bit, bringing back some memories. All right, I'm going to get into the whatnot stuff. Some of this stuff is from April as well. I don't remember what came when, so it's all mixed in. So as usual, I bought a lot of stuff on whatnot. Probably more than I should have, but when you're getting great deals like you get on whatnot, I can't complain. You know, eventually I'll get around to watching all this stuff. It's not like I'm just buying it to buy it. I am buying it to watch it. But you know, I like movies, and if I can get movies at a great price, including new releases like some of these are, I'm not going to argue. I'm going to buy them. So we'll just start where I start and show you what I got. So first up, I picked up The Beekeeper with Jason Statham. I have not seen much of this. I saw somebody watching it on the airplane when I was flying to Myrtle Beach. Somebody was watching it on a seat in front of me. I couldn't hear it, but I saw parts of it. It looked pretty interesting, but it's Jason Statham, so you kind of know what you're getting. Also picked up this one, Silent Night, which came out around Christmas time, oddly enough. But this has no dialogue in it, and I've heard good things about it. This has Joel Kinnaman, who was also in the RoboCop remake. It's a John Woo movie, which means it's going to be action-packed. This is, I picked it up mainly because of the slipcover. I thought it was kind of cool, but I picked up Twister with the glow-in-the-dark slipcover. This one, usually the digital codes are taken out, but this I don't think had a digital code. But this has the glow-in-the-dark slipcover. And of course, Twisters is coming out this summer, which is, I think, one of the most redundant movies possibly ever made because it looks like the first one, but what do I know? This one I picked up to watch with the wife. It's kind of beat up, but I think I only paid $3 for it. It's the movie I care about, and that's Dirty Dancing, the 20th anniversary edition. I have never seen this movie, and so I wanted to watch it with my wife because it's one of her favorite movies. This I picked up just because it's got a stacked cast. Russell Crowe, RZA, RZA, Lucy Liu, David Bautista, Jamie Chung, Byron Mann, and it is The Man with the Iron Fists, presented by Quentin Tarantino. You can't spell Kung Fu without F and U, so this sounds fun. This is a movie that I love, and Elster Cards had this digibook set, which I have never seen in the wild for quite some time. This is The Man Who Would Be King. This is one of my favorite movies when I was a kid, with Sean Connery and Michael Caine. I do have this on Blu-ray, but really wanted to get this digibook. I probably paid, I think I paid $20 for this, which isn't terrible, because I think when it was new, it was going for that in the store. So at least I didn't pay more for it than it was going for in the store. This I paid, I think, $8 for. This is Raging Bull with Robert De Niro. I have not seen this either, which is a travesty. So wanted to get this in the collection. Another great movie that I have seen and wanted to get in the collection is Joaquin Phoenix in You Were Never Really Here. This is a wonderful movie, and I say that with... It's not a family film, but it is a great, great movie. Kind of a brutal movie, and that says that the taxi driver for a new century. I don't know about that, but it says fiercely brilliant on the back. I would be more inclined to agree with that quote than the taxi driver quote. But yeah, Joaquin Phoenix is amazing in this, so highly recommend You Were Never Really Here. Also picked this one up. This one is it is from Europe. But it's from the UK, but it is region free. From Here to Eternity. I think I saw this when I was a kid a long, long time ago, but trying to get some more classics into my collection. Ender's Game, based on the Orson Scott Card book. Is that the author? I can't remember. I started reading the book a long time ago, and I never finished it. And I don't own the book anymore. I think that's the name. But anyway, cast, has Harrison Ford, Asa Butterfield, Haley Steinfeld, Viola Davis, Abigail Breslin, and Ben Kingsley. Ender's Game. Also picked up The Mauritanian. This sounded really good. Also with another good cast, Jodie Foster, Shailene Woodley, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Tahar Rahim, based on a true story. Another classic, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. This is interesting because I just peeled the sticker off of this, and it says it's a Disney Movie Club exclusive, but the sticker I peeled off was a Walmart sticker. So that's kind of interesting. And this one... This one did come with a digital code, but it was taken out. So there you go. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And also picked up Parenthood, which I have seen many, many times with Steve Martin. And this has the 100 Years of Universal slipcover, which is pretty cool. This one looks like it's 12 years old because it has a $10 cash coupon to see American Reunion, which expires in 2012. But it's in perfect shape and still sealed. All right, more Whatnot stuff. Picked up the Prisoners of the Ghostland 4K Steelbook, still sealed. This was pretty cheap. It sounds like it's loose, but it's not. So I'm interested to watch that. Another Steelbook. Great movie, Hell or High Water, with Chris Pine, Jeff Bridges, and Ben Foster. If you like Westerns, modern day Westerns, this is a great movie. I highly recommend this one. I don't want to spoil the plot for you or anything, but it's really, really good. It's not so much action-packed. It's more about the drama in it, but it's really good. It's kind of a good character type movie, from what I remember. It's been a while since I've seen it, but it's a great movie. Saw this in the theater, figured I'd add it to the collection. Captain Phillips with Tom Hanks. That's an excellent film. This I have heard some bad things about, but I figured I would add it to the collection. It has Danny Trejo, Brian Austin Green, and Tim Bell. Vengeance Knows No Limits. This is supposedly inspired by true events. The Night They Came Home, another Western. I have heard that it is pretty bad, though. I picked this one up because I saw that it was a steelbook, and I thought it was the 4K. Unfortunately, it is not. It is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with Steve Martin and John Candy. Oh, like the back. But it is just the Blu-ray with a special features disc, and it's got some artwork. But the steelbook is just a wee bit damaged. It's just a little bit bent. But I didn't pay too terribly much for this, so I'm not terribly worried about it, but I am disappointed it wasn't the 4K. But I did pick up the 4K of Hacksaw Ridge steelbook. Still have to see this one. Heard good things. Andrew Garfield is very good in this from what I hear. Also picked up the Hunger Games prequel. This was really cheap. I think this was $6, the 4K version, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I've heard this is really good. I don't have any of the other Hunger Games movies in my collection, but I will add them if this ends up being good. This is apparently about the eventual President Snow. Who is in this? Do I recognize any of the names? Peter Dinklage is and Viola Davis, directed by Francis Lawrence. So I'm not too familiar with the cast, but I've heard it's really good. Also picked this up. This is Cutthroat Island 4K Steelbook. Gina Davis and Matthew Modine, yeah, and Frank Langella. Directed by Rennie Harlan. Was not a big success in the 90s. Was this 95, I believe this came out? But I've heard it's a good movie. It just did not do well at the box office, but we'll check that out. That was pretty cheap. And then the last two from Whatnot, I picked up Night Swim. I've heard this is but it was really cheap as well. This one I think I'm going to do for the Halloween 15. And I picked this up. I guess it's kind of hard to come by with the slipcover. Um, but I know two people who couldn't make it past the 15-minute mark in this movie, but it's Poor Things. I'm going to attempt to watch this. But, you know, this got a lot of acclaim at the Oscars. We'll see. But yeah, minus the digital code, just as the Blu-ray. We'll see how it stacks up. All right, next up is Hamilton book. Hamilton book, I got a few things. One thing I've been wanting to get for quite a while is The Incredible Hulk, the TV series from the 70s and early 80s. So I did pick that up. This was, I think, $20. So all 5 TV seasons of The Incredible Hulk with Lou Ferrigno. This also comes with, I didn't need them, but it comes with the Hulk movie from Ang Lee on DVD and The Incredible Hulk from the MCU on DVD with Edward Norton. But it does not come with the TV movies that were made with Lou Ferrigno and Bill Bixby. So I went ahead and picked those up on eBay, and you'll be seeing those very shortly. But you can see it comes with the Hulk movies and then the complete 5 seasons of the TV series. I loved this series as a kid. I thought this was amazing. You know, this was the pinnacle of what superheroes could be back in the early 80s, late 70s. But yeah, I love this. You know, don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. The endless pursuit of the Hulk across the country and the music. I don't know. You couldn't go wrong with that series, even though essentially it was the same episode every week. Also picked this up. This is, surprisingly, I did not have this in my collection. 16 Candles, which is one of my favorite movies from the 80s. With Molly Ringwald and Anthony Michael Hall, of course, Paul Dooley, and of course written and directed by John Hughes. I do not like this cover at all. I think that's awful, but it is what it is. It's the movie I care about. How this was rated just PG, I will never know, but... and then I picked this up. This is a movie I've been looking for... I shouldn't say I've been looking for it for a long time. It was just one that I kind of ran across sort of by accident, discovering that the man who directed A Christmas Story directed this. This is Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. And I couldn't believe that the same guy directed both movies. So on a whim, I picked up Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things just to see it. Very interested to see what this is all about. It was $4.95 or $5.95. So this is the 50th anniversary edition. I don't particularly enjoy the artwork, which is pretty bad, but I don't know. So just curious to see that. Also curious to see this. This is, it's called 24 by 36, a movie about movie posters. I have a movie poster collection that has been sitting in my garage for about 10 years. I love old movie posters. Back in the 80s, that's when movie posters were at their peak, I think. And this is pretty much about that. This is about the illustrated movie posters that you don't see anymore. Mostly now you just see a bunch of floating heads sort of collaged together, if collaged is a verb. And this is more about the art of making movie posters and how now they're considered art. And I don't know, I'm just really interested in seeing and learning about the people who made them. And it just says, through interviews with a number of key art personalities from the 70s and 80s, as well as many modern alternative poster artists, 24 by 36 aims to answer the question, what happened to the illustrated movie poster? Where did it disappear to and why? In the mid-2000s, filling the void left by Hollywood's abandonment of illustrated movie posters, independent artists and galleries began selling limited edition screen-printed posters This movement has quickly exploded into a multi-million-dollar industry, with prints selling out online in seconds, inspiring Hollywood studios to take notice of illustration in movie posters once more. So yeah, I thought this sounded interesting. It's an 82-minute long movie about movie posters. Also picked this up because of the resemblance to Five Nights at Freddy's, and it has Nicolas Cage. It is Willy's Wonderland. I'm not sure which one I'm going to watch first, but I've heard he doesn't speak a lick of dialogue in this, so I'm interested to see that. So that's Hamilton book. Here's my last purchase from the Disney Movie Club. I picked up The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the complete first season in 4K Steelbook. I liked that show. A lot of people didn't. I did. And then from eBay, I picked up another Steelbook. Got a lot of Steelbooks this month. One Cut of the Dead. If you saw this, I posted this on Instagram yesterday, I believe. This was available at Walmart, but I got it at half the price on eBay. I looked for this at Dollar Tree forever and couldn't find it. It wasn't the Steelbook, but it was the movie. I couldn't find it on Blu-ray. I couldn't find it on DVD. I've heard nothing but good things about this movie, but I couldn't find it anywhere, so I finally broke down and bought it on eBay on Steelbook. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And then, as I mentioned, I picked up the movies featuring Lou Ferrigno as the Hulk. So I picked up the Incredible Hulk double feature. This has The Incredible Hulk Returns and The Trial of the Incredible Hulk, which includes the Daredevil, and then The Incredible Hulk Returns includes Thor, or a version of Thor. And then this one was kind of rare, kind of hard to get, but The Death of the Incredible Hulk. I think this was the last one based on the title. This one I paid probably too much for. It went for $12.99 new from Best Buy according to the sticker, but I paid probably twice that. This was actually more than that whole box set. But I wanted to complete the collection of the Lou Ferrigno stuff. So there you go. That's everything I picked up in May and late April. And that's everything. So a lot of stuff this month and late last month. I'm going to say this with no real guarantee, but I hope I have a lot less stuff next month. My wallet is bleeding. You know, I love movies. I love buying movies, but I do love watching movies just as much. Every time I buy a movie, it's like a saying I heard about books, but it's true about movies too. Every time I buy a movie, I hope I'm also buying the time to watch that movie. I don't buy them just to buy them. I buy them to watch them. So there you go. Thanks for watching till the end of this video. I appreciate your attention span. As always, if you're new to the channel, this is what I do. I also do movie reviews and unboxings and other stuff, but a lot of what you people come here for are the movie hauls, and so that's mainly what I do. But I'm going to be doing some more reviews. I keep saying that. I know I do, but I did one yesterday, so there you go. So thanks again for watching, everybody. Take it easy.